Hello everyone, welcome to Insight. This is your Psychology Hub. So, in this video, I'll be talking about the question, what is psychology? This is just going to be the first part of the whole video where we will talk about the basics of the subject. So, what is psychology? The term has its Latin root, which itself borrows from Greek, which means soul, mind, and spirit. Here, logia means the study of, which transcribes to the study of soul, mind, and spirit, right? However, over time it has transformed a lot. From the study of soul, the study of mind, it has seen the journey towards being the scientific study of human behavior. The American Psychological Association has defined psychology as the study of mind and behavior. Here it is important to note that the term behavior implies overt actions, the actions which are observable by others. So, psychology is a branch of philosophy and biology, which is what the Greek philosophers mainly inquired about, known as epistemology. If we are talking about the origin, then we can hear the names of Greek philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, French philosophers René Descartes, and experimental psychologist Wilhelm Wundt, of course, who established the first psych laboratory in Germany. G.T. Fechner, who was Wundt's student himself, and G. Stanley Hall, who established the first formal psych laboratory in the USA. And you won't believe, the American Psychological Association started functioning from 1892. It is pretty old, yes, and G. Stanley Hall became its first president. Interesting, right? William James, the pioneer of functionalism, wrote his first textbook on psychology named as The Principle of Psychology. By this time, many psychologists tried experimentation through which they gained novel viewpoints. So different viewpoints resulted in different explanations and numerous schools of thoughts. Now let's understand what these schools of psychology mean. So for those of you who do not know, let's look at it as WhatsApp groups of psychologists. So some joined a group which held similar viewpoints as theirs. Some left because of differences in experiences and explanations. Some were the admin, some rejected the admin and criticized them. So in short, a school of psychology is a group of psychologists holding similar viewpoints and making similar approaches to study the human psyche. The most influential schools of psychology or schools of thought are structuralism, functionalism, the Gestalt school, behaviorism, psychoanalysis, the humanistic perspective, cognitive perspective, biological, socio-cultural, and the evolutionary perspective. So let's take a look at what each of these schools offer in terms of human mind and behavior. First, we have structuralism. It identifies the basic elements or structures of psychological experiences with the help of introspection. The founder and main proponent of this school were Wilhelm Wundt and Titchener respectively. Second, we have functionalism. It focuses on how the mind allows people to function in real world. It was heavily influenced by Darwin's theory of evolution. They focused on functions of mind such as learning, problem solving, comprehension, memory, and language. Third is the Gestalt school. They applied principles of organization to human behavior. Here, the focus is on perception and sensation. One of the most important laws of Gestalt is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The main proponents were Max Wertheimer, Kurt Kafka, and Wolfgang Kohler. So we'll be making a separate video on the experiments conducted by the Gestalt psychologist. Moving on, we have behaviorism, a school which was found in Johns Hopkins University, a university which was built as to oppose structuralism and functionalism. They criticized the use of introspection and focused only upon the observable things of humans or animals. They completely rejected the concept of mind and emphasized on conditioned responses. The main proponents were Skinner and Pablo, and it was founded by J.B. Watson. Right? So they completely rejected the idea of mind. Moving on, psychoanalysis, which highlighted the role of unconscious thoughts, feelings, and memories, and early childhood experiences in determining behavior of a person. They focused mainly upon childhood. This school was founded by Dr. Sigmund Freud. Next, we have humanistic perspective. They see humans in a positive light. They criticized behaviorism and psychoanalysis. So instead of seeing humans as destructive or merely a result of conditioning, behaviorism saw humans in a positive light, saw them as beings having creative potential. So for behaviorists, self-actualization and free will are the most important features. The main proponents were Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. Next is the cognitive perspective. The cognitive perspective is mainly the study of cognitive functions. They explore the study of mental processes. It focuses on the examination of mental processes such as perception, the complexities of thoughts, thinking, memory, and the process of decision making. Hermann Ebbinghaus and Jean Piaget are some of the prominent figures in this field. Sociocultural perspective. Based on how the social situations and cultures in which people find themselves, they influence our thoughts and behaviors. So sociocultural perspective studies how our thoughts and our behaviors are shaped by the social situations that we are in. Next is biological perspective. At last, we have the evolutionary perspective, which is influenced by Darwin's theory of natural selection. It focuses mainly on three components, which are variations, inheritance, and selection. VIS. This is the field which studies about gene transfer from one generation to the another. Now, to cover all of this in one episode will not be possible, which is why the concepts have been cut short. So we'll try to bring another video completely focusing upon just the schools of psychology. We'll be moving on to research now. So just like all other sciences, psychology also needs research for, say, new insights, for education as profession, for therapy, for testing hypotheses, to make predictions, and so much more. The four main goals of psychological research are description of event or behavior, explanation of the observation giving birth to new theories, predicting behavior or modifying behavior, and to control the behavior. Right? One of the really helpful books for research to read, especially if you are a beginner, is the one by C.R. Kothari. So according to C.R. Kothari, research is an original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge, making for its development. So for C.R. Kothari, research is a systematic approach concerning the generalizations which can be made with the existing knowledge. So the goals of research, it focuses on the subject that is to be studied in depth. Second, it clearly reveals the characteristics of the phenomena that is being studied. For instance, I conducted a research on aggression, so the research will unfold various characteristics of aggression, right, to me in depth. So this opens the door to study even further in the field. Third, research shows the frequency in which something has occurred. For example, the number of trials, the number of correct and incorrect responses. And fourth, it tests hypothesis, which is basically an assumption about the relationship between variables. The particular type of research for this purpose is called as hypothesis testing research. Now, there are many types of researches which are broadly divided into 4 categories, which will be covered in the second part. So in part 2, we will be covering the functions of psychologists and the subfields of psychology. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back with part 2. Bye.